We're live on Facebook. Welcome y'all to the Seeds Storyteller Series with my dear brother, Evans Kwesi Mensah, author, social advocate, business consultant, just back like 12 hours ago from Ghana, from his book tour. We have some things to talk about. Welcome, my dear friend.
Thank you, Sarah. Thanks so much for having me this afternoon.
I'm so glad you're with us. So Evans is gonna chat with y'all for a minute while I take a minute to share this live to a few pages. So go ahead, my dear friend. Gonna ask where they're coming from.
Hi, I just want to know where you guys are coming from today. Sarah is a very phenomenal lady, good friend of mine, and I don't take it lightly. I know some of you are dialing in from across the globe, different states of the United States, and I've invited a lot of friends all over from the United Kingdom, Ghana, Africa, and the world to be part of here. So be very excited to know where you're coming from to join this beautiful conversation. Sarah, over to you.
All right, my friends. So just a quick I want to make sure that for those of you that are brand new to me or brand new to Evans, that I give you a little context of who we are and where we're going. So as I mentioned, this is the Seeds Storyteller Series with Evans Kwesi Mensah. And my name is Sarah Davison-Tracy. I too am an author and founder of Seeds of Exchange, and Seeds of Exchange is just this. It's a community of people that are making a difference globally, and we are doing it together. As part of this doing, we believe profoundly in the power of connection, and part of the connection is sharing stories. So one of my favorite parts of my work is sharing people I love with people I love. So today I get to share Evans with y'all. In a minute, we're going to get to some gems. I've panned through his recent, just published book, Synergy and Commonality, for a couple of really deeply inspirational and profound words of wisdom from him. But more than that, I mean, in our world, we're peppered with so much news and so much sales. And this is not like a book sales conversation. This is a conversation with someone that I believe will inspire you, that you will find a bit of your why, a bit of your story, a bit of what matters to you as he shares his story with us, which is such an honor. So please lean in, please join the conversation, comment, emoji, share with your friends. At the end, we will have time for Q&A. So at about 12:30 Mountain Standard Time, in about a half hour, we'll turn it over to some questions. So whether you're on the webinar or you're on Facebook, either way, post in the comments what your questions are. If you're catching it on the replay, post your questions. Evans and I will come back to this thread, and we believe in the power of the ripples of conversation. So we are now going to dive in, as we often do, starting with a place of pause, starting with a time to catch our breath. The world is moving fast, and many of us are moving at light speed. And so we just want to take a minute to cultivate peace, cultivate pause, cultivate a moment to just be. So I'm going to read a short excerpt from my book, Live Ablaze, along with a nudge to just be, to pause, to take that breath. And Evans is going to follow with his own nudge for a pop for us. Taking flight. It's time to leap, soar, and light up the world. You were made for this. This is our purpose on the planet. So hold your head high, your eyes bright, direct, and fierce. Grab a hand and leap boldly and courageously. Leap and fly, live ablaze, and let's light up the world together. So this is a moment to be still. Whew. These are audacious and exhilarating imaginings, hey? We'll return to them in this conversation. But for now, take a moment for silence, for stillness, to be. Let go of the possibilities and the conundrums, the things you know or don't know, excitement or fear. Just be here. Be loved. Take a breath.
Sarah, right after that, I don't even know what to say because you've just blew me personally by your words of wisdom. I should just say that in addition to that, sometimes life is short. We take things for granted. The fact that I woke up today to see my family, my three beautiful boys, and I don't see myself as the most. There should be a reason for me to be alive. Not just for me to wake up and go buy some burger on the street or to go do anything crazy. It probably is for a reason like this to make an impact in the life of somebody who needs it right now. It might be for the sake of one person. It's life change. That's why we're doing this. My goal and probably your goal should be one life at a time. I may not have the entire international stage to make that impact. I may not have the last name to make the necessary impact, but I can assure you, Sarah and I wants to take you through a journey. Take a moment, relax, lie down, get off all the noises in your mind, in your soul, in your spirit. Lie down from human beings, sometimes for just a minute, and think about your personal growth, personal life, the journey. Do not like just look into the destination, look at the journey that you're going through, be it good or bad, to get to your destination. The hope is that with our collaboration, you'll be a better person, not only to you, to the world, and into your communities. Thank you.
Thank you. The reason we do these pops is because whether you are on fumes and hanging by a thread and don't believe you have a difference to make, or you are on fire and you are making a difference and you are blazing trails and you are a warrior, all of us need a minute to be fueled, need a minute to be reminded of how valuable, how worthy, how connected we all can be. Because without it, we won't make it. So our hope is that is a little bit of a blessing to you. But without further ado, we're going to dive in. We have, for those that are just joining, we have my dear brother, Evans Kwesi Mensah, joining us for the Seeds Storyteller Series today. And he is an author. He's a social advocate. He's making a difference in businesses around the world and helping them to figure out what they're about and how they want to make an impact in the world. So before we get to all the amazing things he's doing, and I hope some excerpts from one of my favorite books ever, lots of treasures there, we want to start, as we do, with kind of pulling back the curtain, so to speak, for this amazing human being's life and what it is. Evans, I would love for you to share a few seeds of your journey that prompted you 8 years ago to start writing this book amidst all the other things, family, work, everything, and to write, to publish, and to launch this book into the world. And why are you doing it? Why are you so committed to the message of synergy and commonality? Share a little bit of the backstory for us.
Thank you, Sarah. Thanks again for this.
You're welcome.
Knowing my journey, where I come from, a little town in Ghana, and having opportunity to be Western trained all these years back in Europe and London specifically, doing my bachelor's degree there, moving down to the US to do my master's degree. I see it as a blessing. And the whole thing started as a frustration initially, about actually 10 years ago, because at the time I wrote that 8 years on the book, that was when I was about to publish it. That was, so right now, say 10 years ago, I was in New Jersey at the time, working in one of the biggest multinational companies without a name. I don't want to mention the name. And, you go through very challenging moments. And I remember my wife at the time said, why don't you start writing something? That it wasn't a book I was writing. It was just putting down my frustrations. But one thing that really jumped at me, Sarah, is over time, I paused for over 4 years
Hmm.
and almost forgot even the name. I didn't even know it was called manuscript. And I started turning into a book. I didn't know the name manuscript because I wasn't a writer.
Yeah.
In my family, I have journalists, I have attorneys, I have consultants for GSK and different. I was the least to think about writing a book. So when the thought came that this can be translated into a book, it's not a memoir. It was just a combination of life's experiences, looking at lenses beyond what we see. And I turned it into something positive because I realized if we want to spend time talking about the negative, there are many people who are negative down there.
Yeah.
Those who are positive is a tunnel. They are small up on the tunnel.
Mm.
So I felt it might be God's will for me to go through some of the turbulences I've been through in life.
Mm.
And so I turned them into a message. So I've been on a message tour uh, as a self-publisher. I literally just came back last night from a month tour in my native country, being on about six different national TV stations.
I
In
know.
a
I feel like I need your autograph. You were just everywhere. You had microphones in all these different spaces. It was amazing. I do want please, I want to hear about what it was like to be back home, but go
Right.
ahead.
Right. So yeah, so it's just a pleasant, especially. So I put them in this book, and just to let people understand that we all need each other. Right now, Sarah and I are
Yeah.
speaking. What people see between you and I right now is Sarah is white, I'm black. Actually, I'm dark. Sarah has a long hair, I have a short hair. That's the visible thing. Sarah sounds differently from me. Sarah, it's what is visible is not what sustains us. But what I don't know between Sarah and Evans is that we share a common goal that is not visible. We share ideologies that is not visible. We share synergies that is not visible. For instance, if you see a tree, it has all the things, but what truly is holding that tree is the roots of the tree that is not seen. So my message is what is holding us together for us to look beyond what we see physically as the divisions that we have, which in its sense is silly. What is holding us is invisible, is stronger, is powerful. So we need to be thinking beyond the mindset of colors, the mindset of what we think it's commonality, but we need to come together to one table, regardless of your social background, regardless of your social class, regardless of your faith. Can we have a breakfast first before we say we disagree with each other? But I think we sit too far from each other and fight from different reaches, not getting close together to know who we are. Let's get together. Then we can say we disagree with you. We can understand that better through synergy and collaboration and be a better people, better world, better community than sitting afar. I think that's my message. So literally, I'm not selling a book. I'm selling a message for people to come together. That's my message.
You're living a message is what you're doing.
Thank you.
Okay, so if you were to like kind of look back at your life as if it were a movie, do you see a time, like how old were you when this message started calling to you and becoming important? Were you a kid? Was it in college? Was it last year? When did this message start to really capture your attention?
Yeah, so I think I've always been a mental ruminant in the sense that when I see things, I go back to chew the card, to
Ah,
think about a week, to think about a month and a year. And I've always been a futuristic guy. So when I speak, people don't get it now. They're like, what do you
mm,
mean? Then after
mm,
a couple of years, they're like, oh, I see. That oh, I see people.
yeah,
So I sometimes when you live out of um your territory, like your space of years. Some of us lives like 20 years ahead of us. We
yeah.
think we speak that way. So you need a little bit of patience to know who we are. So I started thinking about the fact that I observe things. I watch TVs, I see people, and
Mm,
people already judge you when you open a door.
right.
They prejudge your way of thinking, they prejudge your wisdom, they prejudge where you should be. Or people love you, but they want you to be here. They love you up to probably you are here, so they love you to be here. But
Mm,
when you're rising and you're getting back here, they're like, no, 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 no. The love is just meant to be here. It's not said, but it's said in actions. So they mentor you. They help you only to be on their shoulder. My message,
Mm.
no. Your destiny, if you listen to me right now, your destiny is beyond your mentor. Your destiny is beyond what you imagine. So I just want to take you through a journey for which experiences I've had. I've been lived in 3 continents, worked in 3 continents, schooled in 3 continents. I haven't seen it all, but I've seen enough to
Mm.
share my little wisdom without having the last name to, but still share wisdom with you.
Mhm.
So this timeless book to give you that wisdom, that perspective, to let you know that we all need each other to climb to the top. It is important because you don't know who's going to open the next door to you. You don't trample on people right now
Yep.
thinking the future is there. You're
Right.
going to get there, look back and see the people you trample on are the very people you need to take you
Yep.
to. So it's good to be humble in life. So
Yeah.
that's where the message has been for the past, I think about 10 years to 20 years. I've been thinking about it. I just put them into a novel to
Did
translate.
you feel that, like, were there moments as a kid, even say 10, 11, 12 years old, where you were in school? Were you back in Ghana at that time going to school? So were there things that either were painful moments of a lack of synergy and commonality that kind of fueled this passion, or was it, did you have the blessing of a lot of synergy and commonality as a kid? Like what was it like for you as a youth
So
with
good,
this?
good luck with that question. I knew you were hoping for something better, but it was a lie, Sarah. So when I was growing up, obviously as a young person in Ghana,
Yeah.
I, you know, from a region where that region is looked negatively.
Mm.
So even in your own country, in your own Jerusalem, you are being perceived with your last name. And so in that region, you struggle through turbulences
Yeah.
to then you get out of your comfort zone to say, oh, so be it. You get to another country,
Mm.
you're like, "Ah, it's worse." You got to step up. You got to be running when people are crawling. You got to be overthinking. The little mistake you do is daunted, is seen as you are the worst person. But
Mm.
I've always created a very big turbulence and a hole in my life, Sarah. Nobody disappoints me anymore. At first, I used to spend all the time to think, you
Mm.
see how very handsome looking I am, whether you like it or not. I know. I I live a life where I take it one step at a time. I
Yeah.
put every turbulence, everything that goes. If you disappoint me today, I shake it off, put it
Yep.
in the bowl and move on. So I
Wow.
started thinking it's about time to speak for the average person. This may
Mm.
not be for everybody, but I think it's about time to speak for the destitute. I think it's about time to document this. Why would I be on a I'm a self-publisher. Everybody
Mm.
who offs the bill is on me.
Mm.
I'm not a traditional publisher. You know the difference. Why am I going on tour? Why was I in DC, Washington, DC on this tour? And having all the guys from the UN, the NASA, the schools that I've attended, giving me spaces to do what I'm doing. Why was I doing it in Colorado? Why am I on international tour? Why am I getting invitation to go to Ireland, the UK, and go to different states in the US to do this? I am on a message and I want people to join us on tour.
Mm.
You are doing the same thing, Sarah, and I'm
Mhm.
using the platform not for me. If it's all about me, it defeats the purpose of my book. We all
Right.
need to come together, support each other, and make sure that message is there. We would come, the world, the peace that we're looking for in the world might right be here if we come together as one
Mhm.
first before we disagree. But if we don't get together to disagree, we're not going to even get the agreement. There's not going to be peace in this world.
Yeah. Yeah. I that reminds me, I want to read this. I just love this. This is the tail end of chapter 34, 33 of Evan's book. Um, and he ends this chapter saying, "What binds us together is far more than what divides us. Watch with your eyes. Watch your eyes in heated moments, because the eye you pluck may be the very eye that you need to guide you tomorrow. The leg you break may be the legs you may need to lead you tomorrow. The hands you damage may be the hands you may need to help you reach something tomorrow." And then to the end of the paragraph, he says, "We may always have our differences, but we should not let such differences become weapons in our hands. Let's find the commonality and the synergies in us sooner rather than later. And I love that because, of course, there are things, to your point about the turbulence, that can become the thing that you focus on, or the division, the differences can be the things that we focus on. But if it's about being passionate, being committed, being creative, being fierce about finding the commonalities, shaking off and making, like how you said, basically, the pain has propelled you to do this work. The what people meant for your ill has become something that has become a blessing in your life. And such the differences, because it's not, you're not looking to say there are no differences or there's nothing that, of course there are differences, but allowing those, you talk a lot about bridging, right? About bridging the differences, about bridging brothers and sisters around the world to find the places that we can truly, like, I love the word synergy because it has that energy. It's like electric. It's not a boring way to do things. Very electric.
Thank you.
I love it. So thank you for that message. And tell us, give us a moment when you were back in Ghana, back home, because you have homes all over the world because you've lived on 3 continents. So one of your homes, tell us a moment that you were like, wow, this is amazing. Were you on a TV set? Were you sitting in a friend's home? Like, what? Just give us a moment of joy and of beauty of taking this book back home and being amazed.
Yes, so I think I just don't want to say it from the top. I'll start to say that.
Okay.
Yeah, back home is, your native country is your native country. You can't deny that. It's something I'm proud of. And I've always been very grateful to the Western world for giving me the extra wisdom. And I don't shy of that. People try to, oh, forget them. No, you can't. I became a better person. I was good, but I became a better person by having the opportunity to be among like-minded people, even people who don't look like you or sound like you. It's been a blessing. So I'm grateful for my parents and friends and who have been with me all these years. That's one part of it. And Sarah, I was blown apart for the last month when I went home. I was truly welcome. I planned it. I prayed about it. I hoped for it. I had a committee that was working for me in that place for the past 3 months. The high level energy are people in high level military ranks, people own their own businesses, directors of companies, medical doctors were on my committee, and people in, for them to make time. And people were flying all over the world themselves on their own private businesses, but they made time, the energy, and most important, Sarah, the media attention. In a space of 4 weeks, being given opportunity to have your message, not just on a book, because I was talking about strategy. I'm a strategy consultant, so they talk about different things. Being re-invited to a station twice within a week. TV stations, like 6 national TV stations, and 2 FM stations, and more on the way. I could have stayed for extra month, if not for an engagement I have with the United Nations next week, and I have to be with the military. I'm invited. I'm flying back next week to Pennsylvania and DC for another week and a half from my family. I would have stayed extra. I felt, wow, I expected it, but it was beyond what I wanted. And the message was welcome. And one thing I was teaching people as well, beyond the book, is to say that you can't be successful always thinking the average. You can be, if you want to have control over time and money, you got to be ready to do the uncomfortable. I don't think you have time. Sorry, you're beautiful kids. You have an amazing husband. You could have wanted to be in Barbados, put your leg in water, feed the ducks, and have fun, and money is working for you. But for now, you are on a tour of a message. What we are doing is part of you, is part of me. So I felt welcome. I felt like home, having been welcome in Colorado, DC, and other states coming up, and other nations. For me to be a self-author, people should go Google the difference between a self-author. I'm not the Obamas, I'm not the Trumps, I'm not the that before the book comes, millions are sold. I fly all over to that place, and I was welcome. I left and I had tears in my eyes. When the flight took off, I looked at the country and I saluted and I thanked the Almighty above. And I said, well, right now, I don't have a choice. I'm going to be coming every other month. I'm going to schedule my time to be coming every other month to make, because we are on a movement, or even political terrain, things have to change. We need to sustain things. So beyond the book, I'm bringing people from all regions together and having support from the World Bank in Ghana, major institutions, small companies like HEC, and very soon next week, I'm going to put all the companies on my website. So for people to go in then to just appreciate, not only the World Bank need my link, but just for them to know they support small people like us. That means a lot to me. And all the support that I got from individual people, I can tell you, I came revived. Reason I came back last night, but I'm smiling because I have the energy to talk to you. And I'm you are yes, and supported me patiently for me to come back to do this today. Thank you.
Yeah. Well, what you're doing is in just putting their logos on your website, it's an everyday picture of synergy, commonality, collaboration, and yeah, you just ooze it. You live and breathe it, and it's beautiful, and it's a great picture of kind of the many layers of steps that it takes, and the many ways we get to weave this tapestry of togetherness. So for those of you that are came in halfway, this is my dear friend Evans Kwesi Mensah, and in a minute we're going to get to some Q&A for those that are joining us on the live, and you want to ask Evans a question, please put it in the comments below and we'll go through those. For those that come in, watch the replay and you have questions for him, you can always private message him, private message me, or you can post the comments, questions below. We profoundly believe in the power of the continuing conversation, because this is a 45-minute, Facebook Live that we hope has a life of its own. So join us and make sure if there's someone that comes to mind, share this video with them. Share Evan's work with them. In the write-up, you'll see I've included a link to his book, a link to his website. You can go down the Evans vortex, as I say, and find out more about him and join the movement that he is creating around the world of people that are looking to make a difference together. And have the gift of waking up every day with this energy, even as he is today, post 24-hour journey to come back home, and he's with us this morning. So that is a gift, to have that kind of energy and passion and purpose in your everyday life. And Evans is a big, he's fueling that in all of us. So thank you. And those, I do want to make sure that for those of you that are joining us and you feel far from either commonality or purpose, if you are hanging by a thread sort of a moment, please private message me. I promise I will support you, love you, pray. Everyone is in different seasons of life, and before we went live, Evan said a beautiful blessing and prayer over this conversation and said, if it was just one person that is destined to come on this live and get a nugget of hope and encouragement, so be it. So if that one person is you, that is our heart's desire, and we are with you and for you and love you, and want to make sure that amidst talking about these grand and very important topics of global connection and making a difference, we also know that life can be incredibly hard. And if that's you, don't go it alone. Use this moment to reach out to us or to someone in your world for some connection. And yeah, just don't go it alone, please. So I'm going to take a look real quick at our comments and see if there's any questions for us. And if not, as I said, I have tons of questions of my own. And we'll definitely go with that. So again, as I said, y'all, if you have questions, please pop them in the chat, in the comments, and live or in the replay. Okay, so how did you make it from Ghana to the United States? What were the threads of connection and the way you made your way to here? We're, by the way, Evans and I are both coming to you from Denver, Colorado. We happily live in the same city, which is awesome. But share a little bit about the story of how you made it around the world. And of course, you keep going back and forth now, but.
So, Sarah, thanks for that question. It's a very interesting one because it's good to I can summarize 10 seconds, but I can also give you a story.
The story. We'll take the story any day.
So people, storytellers, Seeds season, I just want to say that I have a particular passport. I call it a stone that the builders rejected, became the cornerstone. The reason I call that passport, regardless of all the many passports I've had, is I had too many rejections. Embassies will never give me a visa to travel. And 20-something years ago, whatever I did, they said, no, 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 no. But you know, one day, I've always said the answer is either yes or no. I've always decided to step out. I've had my preliminary education back home in Ghana. I felt the desire to go out to learn, to be better, to learn. I felt the globe belongs to God. It belongs to me. It's just a matter of people put parameters on borders. So I can, to fast track, I had the final breakthrough of a yes to go to school in the United Kingdom. I went to University of Greenwich, and I give credit to my sister, Michelle, who supported me to go to school. So I did my bachelor's degree over there, but I've always, my family, if you know them, they'll tell you I've always desired to be in the United States, even when I was young. So even though I was in the UK, please, UK folks, don't hate me. I love you. I love the country. I love my school. I love you all, but I've always desired to earn up in the US. So I pursued my education to come here to do my master's degree. And I went to Howard University. And I think 10 years ago, I graduated doing my master's degree. And having been here, and being in the UK and Ghana, all over the world, my goal had always been, what can you do differently? If I was come here for just education, I would have left with certificate and do 9 to 5 and have 2 cars in my garage, some probably $20,000, $50,000 in my bank account and feel good about it. No, I want to be fulfilled. I want to learn why things are so precise, like why the edge of here to the edge of there, the inches are the same. Why do I sit on an aeroplane and it's perfect? Who made it? This conversation we're having right now, why would someone think to make it work on a computer? So what am I doing? We watch people play. LeBron James play his basketball. We are clapping for him. We watch soccer in all over the week. Who is clapping for you? And we are destined for something. So I came here to be, my job is to be a better consultant, to be a better advocate, to take people out of mental slavery. So so my point, my LeBron James is how I communicate. My Mercy, who is one of the best soccer players, arguably in the world, is to make sure I speak well, to encourage and motivate people. So what are you doing? So I had to find my purpose, and just been a journey. And I'm still on that journey, trying to find more purpose to be a better person and make people better than me. Else, you hire the best, okay? You hire your weaknesses to make you a better person. You cannot do it. So that's why I'm collaborating with you, Sarah. Just so everybody should know, I'm on your Facebook. People are joining me also live from my side. I want people to know Sarah is living a true synergy and collaborative life. She's not selfish in the sense that you are an author too. And you are here talking about me, promoting me. That alone is a profound statement about who you are. And I'm grateful to you. And that's the journey I want us to be on. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. That's amazing. So I have a lot of people in my world, and I'm sure you do too, that have like a hint, an inkling of a hope to do something creative or to amplify their message in the world, writing books, speaking about it, using the arts to do it. There's all these beautiful different ways that it can be done, starting nonprofit organizations, starting social enterprises, whatever the thing is. I would love for you to share a bit of what got you through the race, the marathon of from the moment you had your wife was like, gotta write this book, or how about it, Evans? Let's write this book. And then, I mean, there's a lot of hours of carving out the time to do that. What are a few things that kind of helped you during the early and the mid and the late stage of like crossing that finish line of getting this book published and sharing this message with the world for folks to apply to whatever the things are for their passions and purposes?
One word: determination. I was determined, and I told myself, I'm going to do this, and I'll allow nothing to come between me and the fulfillment of my aim. The reason it took me 8 years, I was better late than never. And so, like I said, I didn't start it with a book. I was just writing a novel, like writing a diary of all the things, and the whole thing is babbling. And the plans that maybe God has for you, that supreme man has for you, might not be your plan. Today, I'm here talking about a book. I was one person who wants to be behind the scenes, but here am I trying to, at some point I wasn't on social media for like 5 years, but here am I trying to be vulnerable. So you have to, I mean, I was determined. And a lot of people even ask me, why are you African and are you doing this in this part of the world? You're bold. I said, well, I'll call it that, my middle name. My name now can be Evans Kwesi Mensah. Just because I refuse to get to the name, get to that stage before bringing up your message. I want to start somewhere. I want to make sure that we speak for the vulnerable. So I was just determined and just be focused and making sure that I do what I set out. It's all about personal integrity, not for anybody, but to yourself. And I'm raising up kids that I'm trying to advise to do the right things, stay focused, stay on course, and do all the things. Sarah, I'll be hypocritical if I don't live that life myself. Right. So I think the best way they can watch me or they motivate me to do the right thing is more in actions versus the words that we use. Like my kids, I don't stand up to talk to them down. Psychologically, it doesn't work. I get their level and talk to them so they see me as equal. I lie down, they lie on me. We talk. I just wanted people to understand that there is nothing, no mountain you cannot climb, no journey you cannot achieve if you don't put your mind to it. But by the way, you cannot do it mostly by yourself. The reason as part of the book, I said 1 + 1 to you actually it's not even 2, it's half, because you can't even get that 2 right. But 1 + 1 in synergy coming together with a multiply effect is over more than 20. And multiply that 20 over, we would be better. We would be better if we come together. So that has just been my goal, to make sure. And I always think, last point, I always think before I do things. Meaning, if I want to do something, I think through it. I do a lot of foundational work to be sure if I want to do it. I've done all the analysis as a strategist. I do that. And would it be welcome? Would it be this? But if you think about the failures, you can move. So the message is not for me, it's for you listening to us right now. That if I can take this step and go all over the world doing what I'm doing right now, you don't need to go all over the world. Your world can just be your small community. Your world can be your sister, your brother. Your world, that neighbor you never said hello to before. But trust me, in spite of your networks that you might have, you might know the president of the world. If you collapse right now and you need 10 seconds for someone to give you that life to pump your heart, that person, by the time you call that network, you'll be dead. The neighbor that you never talk to, the neighbor that you don't even wave to say hello, they're not asking you for food, just to say hello, wave your hand. That smile you don't give, that person might be your savior. So my message is, let's be together. That's the reason, the breath I have. If life was 2, I'll mess with 1, fully mess with 1. But since life is 1, and we have 24 hours that I don't even have time to waste. And anybody, I want to live it well and live it fulfilled. Sarah, that's my journey.
Yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so for those that are joining us and are on the kind of brink or living by a thread and just really in a dark place, what is it for you that gives you hope, that gives you that is light for you when things seem lost? And how might that, for those of you that are feeling that way, my hope is that there's something from Evan's story that speaks to you.
So I would say that when I see people thrive, see
Yeah.
others succeed, it gives me joy.
Yeah.
Not many people are genuine about it. You know, they smile and hug you, kiss you, but some of them behind the scenes jealous of you. But they don't know that it's an evil spirit. It's a bad spirit. And so I believe in seeing people thrive. I have mentees all over the world. People ask me, how do you do it? I make time for them. And most of them, I'm trying to raise them to their destined opportunity that they
Yeah.
got. And so when I'm succeeding alone, I feel like something is wrong.
Yeah.
I want to see others success. I want to see people healthy. I want to see people's family well. Because if you ain't successful, you become a burden to me anyway. So why not we all get together? I've
Right.
always desired that I wanted to get to the top.
Mm.
It comes down to help people when I was younger. But when I started growing up with the joy of social enterprise, social impact, and all the social things, I right now want to grow with people. I mean,
Yeah.
let's all get together. Let's get to the top. But what you're going to be playing is different. Remember, we're all on a musical stage. Everybody's dancing to a tune. Everybody's playing an instrument. But we need the diversity of the instrument to sound better. Remember, we're also in an exam hall, Sarah, and everybody listening to Sarah and I right now. But the difference in that exam hall is we all taking different exam papers.
Right.
So you sneak peek somebody thinking you're copying that person. You don't want to be you. You're going to be copying number 10 question wrongly. You're going to be copying the right thing and you're going to get zero. And your life is going to be very pathetic. Just stay in your lane, be a better you, admire people, but do not admire them to be like them. Do you know if that person has cancer? Do you know if that person is going to die tomorrow? But
Right.
you want to take the best, you don't want to take the worst. Be you. Just be a better you, and let's focus and make this place and make yourself a better person. You're going to live psychologically younger, emotionally well. You're going to live a healthy life. And trust you me, you would enjoy this piece of the world. Even though it's tough to live in, you're going to
Yeah.
enjoy it. That's my message.
Love. Thank you. Okay, my last kind of, as we wrap up, I do want to make sure that y'all take the invitation, if it calls to you, of the blessing and the freedom that it is to be reminded of this harmonic, diverse symphony, and that each of us have different tunes to play. We might even have the same instrument, but a different tune we've been destined to play. So just to have the exhale of the blessing of knowing that we're each here to play a different instrument, to play a different tune, and to celebrate the music that is around us and that is in you. So thank you. I love that. So before we wrap up, what would be one last nugget, one last word, so to speak, from you as we wrap up this conversation for our friends and family watching?
Character, as I put it in my first chapter, there's a reason I made character the first chapter of my book. Character is how you treat people who don't do anything for you. Your true character reveals itself in adversity. Your true character reveals itself when things are tough. So I urge you to have a good character. We all are going to get to a destination regardless. It's the purpose and how you get there that's going to make you a different person, be it positive or negative. So my goal to you is just focus and make sure you treat one another as one. because you never chose to be who you are. Sarah, you never chose to come out to be a blonde, white lady. You just came out of the blue. You have a
Yeah.
period, you are white. I never chose to be black coming from Ghana. I just came out of the blue.
Yeah.
We
Right.
all were to make choices. I would have been riding white horse whilst being born. I would have living a better life whilst being born, but we never chose it. If you never contributed to that part of your life, why bluff the next person? It's just good to be together. Let's make ourselves enjoy each other and live a graceful life like Sarah and I live that right now.
Thank you. Well, that's beautiful, and that's always how I like to wrap these conversations up. So thank you for being the bridge builder that you are. So for those of you that are on the live with us, thank you for joining. For those of you that are catching us on the replay, thank you for joining. Please help us share this message with your peeps, your people, your friends, your family, and thus you are a part of sharing this message of connection, of this invitation to live a life with great energy and passion and purpose and love. And so as we always sign off, reminder, deep reminder that you are loved, that you belong, that we belong to each other, and an invitation to stand tall and light up the world together. So love you guys. Thank you for joining. Evans, thank you for joining us, and sipping your coffee to stay awake, jet lagged. And let's keep the conversation going, y'all, and let's do this. It's so good. Blessings. Much love. Bye.
Thank you, Sarah. Thanks so much.